Do you want to know what to expect for the fall real estate season? Well, keep watching and find out. Hello, Rick Annunziata of S&R Properties here. Welcome to our fall real estate update. Today I'm going to walk you through some of the most important topics happening right now in the housing market. And we can all probably agree that this year, real estate has been defined by rising mortgage rates. Now, this is a look at the Freddie Mac 30-year fixed rate going all the way back to January of 2022. And what it shows is how much mortgage rates rose from the beginning of the year all the way into mid to late June. And you can see that there's been a lot of volatility in mortgage rates over the past few months. Now, I want to remind you that inflation is the enemy of long-term interest rates, and that's something you definitely want to keep your eyes on. So this slide is the latest data we have from the experts as of August of this year. The last column shows the average, all of their projections together over the next 4 quarters. And it shows that mortgage rates are projected to essentially stabilize over the next year. So I think as we look forward to this, the low to mid 5s is what we could expect to see, maybe even by next year at this time, dipping into the high 4% range. And that could bring a lot of predictability for buyers. And I think that this next quote really says that well. This is from Lisa Sturdivant. She's a housing market economist that we follow at S&R Properties. And she says that after the end of the summer lull, and as mortgage rates stabilize, we may see a return of buyers and a relatively strong fall housing market. So that could be great news if mortgage rates do stabilize. We may see more buyers coming back in the market, feeling confident with their borrowing costs. And so we know that rising mortgage rates have caused many buyers to step out of the home buying and sellers out of the selling process. But with these projections at hand, should they play out the way we think, we could see stabilization in a very strong housing market. So another topic that's on everybody's mind is home price appreciation. A recent survey we conducted asked 400 real estate agents, what's the number one question that your buyers and sellers are asking you right now? And one of the top questions was, what's happening with home prices? Where are home prices headed? And so what I want to do today is bring some context to this to show how home price appreciation is still expected to rise going forward. And that's based on today's buyer demand and low inventory. But what does that mean in the grand scheme of things? Well, I think this graph really helps to articulate this. This says that appreciation is slowing, not depreciating. And that's where decelerating comes into play. What you can see here is that home prices, well, they were still rising at a record-breaking rate at the beginning of this year. But what has happened since then? Well, we've come off that high of 20% home price appreciation. It's continuing and it's starting to cool. And that's what you can see in May, June, July. That's the decelerating process at work on prices. So what this means is year over year, July of this year compared to July of last year, home prices were still 15.8% higher on the national average compared to last year. But that's a slower pace than the high of over 20% that we saw at the beginning of the year, end of last year. So the pace of appreciation is slowing. That's the decelerating process. It's not depreciation where we would have negative growth. So let's say you have a home that you could have sold for $400,000 3 or 4 months ago. Well, now that home would only sell for $370,000. In that case, it really feels like depreciation, right? But home price appreciation has gone up, just not as high as it was previously. And we know that there are plenty of buyers out there. There's still low inventory. We know that prices are projected to continue rising, but at a slower pace. Now, a year ago, the listing price was the floor of the negotiation. And there was bidding wars. But now the shift is that the listing price is probably more of the ceiling of the negotiation. Buyers right now have a little bit more negotiating power, so home price appreciation is slowing, not depreciating on an annual basis. So what you can see here, these are January forecasts for 2022 home price appreciation. That's what you see in the middle column, compared to the last forecast, and those are in the right-hand column. As you start a calendar year, the experts offer their opinions on what they think home price appreciation is going to be this year. So they're looking at buyer demand, supply, inventory, all of the different things that drive home price growth, and they project out for the year. So what you can see here is that this year experts, even though prices were decelerating, well, they projected a higher home price appreciation for the 2022 year. So we are anticipating home prices to continue to appreciate this year, though at a more modest level. Inventory mortgage rates are still historically low. And if you look at this data, it helps us to compare where we are today versus where we were in the past few years as far as inventory goes. How many houses are on the market today? Are there fewer or more homes than there were 1, 2, or 3 years ago? So this chart is looking at housing inventory for the last 3 years, 2019, 2020, and 2021, and comparing it today to today. Think of the chart as a look at where we are right now compared to the last 3 years. Those 3 columns represent inventory numbers for the past 3 years. How much inventory is available today, percentage-wise, compared to those years? Well, the blue bar on the left is from 2021. And you can see that inventory is 26.3% higher today than it was in 2021. So that's creating more opportunities for buyers. Now, it has helped with the softening of home prices for sure, but when we look at the 2020 column, well, we see that inventory is down 5.4% as a comparison to today. And in 2019, inventory is very low, down 42.2% compared to where we are right now. So that's what's continuing to drive upward pressure on home prices. Inventory is still low. We still have buyers in the market. Yes, we've seen a softening, a cooling, a slowing. But home prices are projected to continue rising, primarily based on this inventory data. So really, really important to be able to get this information out to you so that you can understand where the mortgage rates are projected to go and what's happening with home prices in the real estate industry. We're happy to be working with you as a trusted expert in this process to make sure that you have the data and the facts on what's happening in the real estate industry today. So I'll wrap up right here. Please check out our fall buyers and sellers guides, and they're located in our website's FAQ section, snrproperties.com. And if you're looking for a great team to manage, sell, or buy real estate, reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for tuning in to SNR Properties Fall Real Estate Report, and have a great day.